Our next guest represents two cities all on his own. Mark Field has been Member of Parliament for the cities of London and Westminster since 2001 and was appointed as Vice Chairman International of the Conservative Party by the former Prime Minister David Cameron. In his role, the chairs of the party's International and Outreach Office, which builds relationship with international sister parties on the centre-right and works closely with the Westminster Foundation for Democracy to enhance democratic institutions and political party structures in the developing world. He takes a special interest in economic affairs, financial services, foreign trade and international development, and is currently chairman of the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Venture Capital and Private Equity, as well as vice chairman of the group on Bangladesh. As well as his extensive roles in Parliament, he writes regularly for the Daily Telegraph and City AM, and also appears frequently on the BBC shows The Daily Politics and Sunday Politics and Newsnight. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mark Field, MP.
Amjad, thank you very much indeed. My whole life goes before my very eyes when I hear these introductions, but it's a great pleasure to have been invited today. And as a fanatical football fan, may I first congratulate the organisers on such a timely location. Now, for those of you who don't know, in representing the cities of London and Westminster, we have the absence of a genuinely local Football League team. In fact, I'm almost exactly halfway between Arsenal on the one hand and Chelsea on the other. So nonetheless, I am delighted to welcome you to the home of the current Premier League leaders and this season's likely champions. That's a completely unbiased prediction, of course. Now, I'm just glad that the people of central London don't change their MP as often as Chelsea change their team manager. But I might start working on it, I better be careful. But of course, when I think of the UK's sporting ties to Pakistan, it is football that doesn't naturally spring to mind. I actually think of our very closely intertwined history, the very vibrant Pakistani diaspora in the UK, totaling over 1 million British citizens, and of course, the other game of cricket. Now, it was only 5 years after independence, in fact, as long ago as 1952, just a few more miles north of here, at the Lord's cricket ground, that Pakistan was first given Test match status. And when winning the Cricket World Cup 40 years later, Captain Imran Khan famously galvanised his talented but rather mercurial and inconsistent team by imploring them to play like cornered tigers. He wanted them to fulfill their long-held potential. And of course, as we know, it worked. And that, of course, is why we're all here today, to unearth, to recognise, and to seek ways of fulfilling the potential of the UK's and Pakistan's trading relationship, particularly, of course, around technology. So in that light, I would like to make 3 points. First, the UK will build upon our already strong trading association with Pakistan. Secondly, the UK government will not only continue to develop our own technology sector, but we will help UK companies grasp the very growing opportunities that are there in Pakistan. And finally, we will ensure that once Brexit has taken place, the UK remains the most innovative, tech-savvy country, a place around the world, and in particular Pakistan, will look to when doing business. Our bilateral trading ties are already very strong, with our trade in goods up 6% and the share of Pakistan's exports to the UK increasing in the past year by some 7.4%. We are Pakistan's second largest investor, with UK companies having poured in more than $2 billion over the past decade. And of course, more than 120 British companies are already active in the country, largely, but not exclusively, of course, from that Pakistani diaspora to whom I referred. And that includes, of course, household names also, the bigger names, such as Debenhams, Next and Mothercare, to the world's largest Tony and Guy hair salon. And away, of course, from the high street, London's own Standard Chartered is the second largest provider of Islamic finance in Pakistan. And on the tech side, there is a promising foundation from which to build. We have an opportunity, I think, now to utilize this sort of conference as a starting point for some stronger ties. The UK is, as everyone will know, a world-leading tech hub and a fantastic place to start any business, but particularly in the technology sphere. Let me explain why. With some 58,000 digital technology businesses throughout the UK, this is a sector that is growing 32% faster than the rest of the UK economy and already boasts an annual turnover of £160 billion. We are the largest data center market in Europe. We have fantastic connectivity speeds, most of the time, I hasten to add. There is the issue of broadband access, but that's something that we were promised earlier today in the budget, that progress was being made. But we have a broadband service that is comfortably, at least, in the world's top 10, so that also gives us something to aim for in improvement. Canary Wharf helped give birth to the booming fintech financial technology scene with a workforce already of nearly 61,000 people and a national turnover of £20 billion. And we are leading the world in making our cities smarter, an ambition that stands to benefit both the UK and Pakistan. Lahore, the IT capital of Pakistan, is one of the top 20 most populous cities in the world. Indeed, it has often been said that if Punjab itself was a nation in its own right, it would be the 11th most highly populated in the globe. With 70% of the world's citizens projected to be living within urban areas by the year 2050, which I remind you is now only 33 years away, we must, with urgency, redesign our cities to mitigate the problems caused by urbanization, resource depletion, and demographic change. There is, I think, much expertise and support that we can offer to the Pakistan tech sector. But I also recognize there is much we can learn from you too. Let's take the IT industry as a whole. Pakistan's IT exports have increased by more than 11-fold over the past decade. With more than 2,000 software houses and call centers at present, the Pakistan IT industry is now a well-established player in the global world, boasting many of the world's largest companies among their key clients. Pakistan's technology companies are winning international awards in areas as far afield as e-health and financial applications. Its mobile app, gaming and animation development industries are breaking new ground. Now, we've all heard of the Game of Thrones, one of the most watched TV shows anywhere in the world, especially, dare I say it, amongst my parliamentary colleagues. But how many of us know that its iconic title animation sequence was produced by Hamid Shaukat, a US-born Pakistani designer? And we're seeing Pakistani companies such as NetSol Technologies, the only NASDAQ-listed company in Pakistan, and SI Global Solutions, establishing their presence in the UK and bringing their expertise to bear. Financial technology is another genuine area, I think, for US-Pakistan collaboration. It was only earlier this year that the Lord Mayor of the City of London visited Karachi to seek ways in which we can use the City of London's world-beating expertise to support this burgeoning sector at home in Pakistan. Karachi, which I needn't tell you is Pakistan's great financial hub, is an ideal environment for ambitious startups looking for investment and the latest technology. The potential for growth is truly staggering. The number of Pakistani adults who have a mobile bank account greatly exceeds the average in South Africa, for example, not to mention the mobile phone penetration at some 60%, and of course, with over half the population being under the age of 25. So I want to see UK and Pakistan working together, sharing expertise, and ensuring that together we play our part in helping to build a global digital economy that allows our business to flourish and our customers genuinely to become empowered. Before I finish, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what the UK government is doing to support the tech industry, but also to promote trade more widely with global partners in this Brexit era. Please be assured that by leaving the European Union does not change our ambition or our commitment to our technology sector. With some £16 billion worth of investment has been poured into the UK since the referendum on the 23rd of June last year. Over recent months, the likes of Facebook, Amazon and Snap have announced expansion in the UK. Dyson recently announced, only last week actually, its plans to build a £2.5 billion research and development campus in Wiltshire. The reasons I think shouldn't surprise anyone in this room. The UK has a low tax, light regulation economy, underpinned by a widely respected commercial legal system, one I think we help to export to Pakistan amongst other nations. We have 3 of the top 10 global universities in the world feeding a highly skilled workforce. And the G7 countries, and amongst the G7 countries, the UK has some of the most productive science base, and we rank first in many key global measures of research quality. We know that the access to talent is hugely important for the tech industry. And I want to assure you that we remain committed to having an open global economy, which will remain a magnet for the brightest and best from around the world. And we also know that the tech sector is highly integrated in this European continent, which is why we are aiming for the greatest possible access to the single market. But we also have to see the opportunity beyond Europe's shores. Brexit gives us the ability to strike trading agreements with global partners. The International Trade Department of the UK government has singled out Pakistan as a key country with which to do business. And I'm delighted that Theresa May's government is increasing its trade team in Pakistan in order to assist British business to realise their burgeoning potential there. The Morgan Stanley Capital International uprating to emerging market status, coupled with the demographics, a growing middle class now of some 40 million people in Pakistan, means we are rightly focusing upon trade there more than ever before. And we shall continue to engage at political level. In fact, many of you will know that this week, trade ministers from 52 Commonwealth countries are gathering in the City of London to discuss, amongst other things, how we can properly boost trade amongst the network and raise the standard of living for our 2.2 billion population through the Commonwealth as a whole. The Prime Minister has been clear. She wants the UK to become the greatest advocate for free trade anywhere in the world. And in this endeavour, the UK, I know, will look to all like-minded partners, such as Pakistan, who see and understand that trade and education are the best vehicles for stability, prosperity for the future. So in conclusion, I want to reiterate that the UK's and Pakistan's bilateral relationship isn't just strong, but it is rooted in cultural and historical significance. Across British commerce, sport and film, Pakistan is increasingly making its presence felt. Even in politics, as many of you will know, the mayor of this great city may not be in my political party, I hasten to add, but Sadiq Khan is, in case you hadn't heard, the son of a Pakistani bus driver. That in itself, I think, captures the uniqueness of our relationship. On trade, the watchword rightly is potential. As a growing, dynamic market with a young, globally minded population, Pakistan offers UK companies the fantastic opportunity in one of the most important geostrategic points across the globe. In the technology sector, I passionately want to see a sharing of expertise and a commitment to work together to ensure that our respective economies meet the demands of a constantly evolving digital economy. The will is there, and now so is the opportunity. Let's seize it.